Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Today we're going to start off with homework on decimals and rounding decimals. So let's get started. So the first part says round the numbers below to the nearest whole number, tenth, and hundredth. Now we'll do one of these together, and I'll let you do the other two on your own. So the first one says if we're reading the number 84 and 625 thousandths. So when we're rounding to the nearest, we'll start with the nearest whole number. I'm thinking which whole number is this closest to? Well, I know it falls in between two different whole numbers. It falls in between 84 wholes and 85 wholes. Now, when I'm thinking which one of those is it closer to, I'm looking at my decimal value here, which is 625 thousandths. Well, when we're dealing with thousands, I know that it takes thousandths to make a whole. So that would get me all the way up to 85, but I don't have 1,000 thousandths. I have 625 thousandths, which looks like this. 625 thousandths, which is more than half because 500 thousandths would be exactly half. Therefore, I know that I'm closer to the next whole number because I'm beyond the halfway point. So I know I'm closer to being 85. So I'm rounding then to 85 in that case. Now, when I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, let me erase this piece. When I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, I'm going to look at the tenths place, which is a 6. And I'm going to look at the digit behind it, which is a 2. And I'm going to say, would that 2, is it more than half that will push up the 6 in the hundreds place? And no, it's not. So the 6 will stay the same. And then my whole number is going to stay at 84. So 84 and 6/10 if I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. And then for the hundredth, I'm just going to look again at the 2 in the hundreds place. I'm going to look at that 2 and I'm going to say, is the 5 behind it half or more than half that's going to push that 2 up? And yes, it is. That 2 is going to be pushed up to a 3. And then everything to the left is going to stay the same. So we're going to get 84 and 63 hundredths if I round to the nearest hundredth. So you're going to use that same strategy on the other two numbers and see if you can use it to round those numbers to the proper place value. All right, let's move on. So the next question says, find the perimeter of a square with an area of 81 square centimeters. It's kind of the opposite of the problem that we looked at yesterday. So we have a square. And what we know about this square is it has an area. And the area is 81 square centimeters. Now, guys, if you're finding an area of 81 square centimeters and it's a square, you know to find the area, you have to do the area equals length times width. So you're looking at this number and this number. Whatever those numbers happen to be, they have to be the same. The length and width have to be the same here because it's a square. So basically, I'm asking myself, what number times itself would give me 81? Now, if you can figure out what that number is, that tells you the side length of the square. Remember, though, we are looking for the perimeter. We're trying to find the perimeter of that square. Once you know what one of the sides, though, is in the square, you can easily find the perimeter. So think about that. What number times itself would give you 81? And moving from there, you're going to be able to find the side length of the square. I think you can do that. So the next question says, find the volume of a cube with a side length of 12 centimeters. Now remember, a cube has 3 dimensions. So it's 3D. And those 3 dimensions are length, width, and height. Now, when we're talking about a cube, we're talking about, I actually have a small one here, a cube, thinking like this. The length, the width, and the height are all the same because all the faces of a cube are squares. So if we know that the length is 12 centimeters, that means the width is also 12 centimeters, and that means the height is also 12 centimeters. Now, to find the volume of a cube, you take the length times the width times the height. Length times width times height will give us volume. So if I just do 12 times 12 times 12, which is also the same as 12 to 30, I will get the volume. Now, remember when you find volume, my answer is going to be, in this case, in cubic centimeters. And if you're wondering what a cubic centimeter looks like, it looks just like that. That's a cube, and all of its length, width, and height are all exactly 1 centimeter. So that would be a cubic centimeter. So you're doing 12 times 12 times 12. I would suggest do 12 times 12, get an answer, and then multiply that answer by 12, and that will give you the volume of that cube, which is a rectangular prism. All right, guys, almost done. So Quinn is one of the greatest actors the town of Leesburg has ever seen. Just recently, he was chosen to play a leading part in Hamilton on Broadway, but he turned it down to start his own one-man show called Quinn, the real story of a legend. To prepare for his role, he wanted to practice for at least 100 hours per week. So 100 hours per week. Okay, so that's most of the hours. And so far, he's practiced for 9 1/3 hours on Sunday. So 9 1/3 on Sunday. And 9 11/12 tonight. 9 11/12 tonight. The question says, how many hours will he still need to practice? So I'm just going to write, I'm going to abbreviate that. I'm going to say, how many more hours? So we know how many hours to practice. We need to figure out how many more. So his goal is, his goal is 100 hours per week of practice. And so far, he did this yesterday, and he's going to do this tonight. Now, I'm trying to figure out how many more hours does he still need to practice in order to meet this goal of 100. Well, in order to figure that out, I need to figure out, well, what did he already practice? Well, he practiced this 9 1/3 Sunday, which was 2 days ago. And then he's going to do 9 11/12 tonight. If we can add those two together, that'll tell me what he's already practiced. From that point, I'm going to get some number, we'll call it X. From that point, I have to take away whatever he's already practiced from his goal. Remember, his goal is 100. If I can take that away, I can then figure out what is left, how many hours are left to practice. And I'm going to let you guys finish that one up. Really good job, guys, and see you later in class.